The Capcom Pro Tour 2024 is now well underway, and the fate of several world-class professional players in one region has been sent into chaos due to the actions of one unknown player. Let me explain. So yes, the Capcom Pro Tour has now been underway. While we haven't had our first offline event of the season, which will be the upcoming EVO 2024, the World Warrior Regional Finals have been underway. So once again, the World Warrior Regional program has been going on for quite some number of years now, where the world is divvied up into several regions where players can compete in 5 qualifying events to earn points over the season to end up qualifying for a regional final. And if they win that regional final tournament, they then qualify for the Capcom Cup at the end of the season. The new addition this season, however, is that some regions are super regions, where in a super region, 2 people will qualify out of this region, where the player with the most points after all 5 qualifying tournaments will automatically qualify into the Capcom Cup. And the rest of the players, the rest of the top 8 players, will then have that one final regional final tournament in order to decide who the other representative for the region will be. Well, US Canada East has always historically been one of the most stacked regions in the world based on this regional qualifying system because it's home to some of the best players in the world. This is a graphic I made for the MenaRD qualifying video from last season, but all these players are still in NA East. We have Punk to God, who just came off a big CEO victory with international players in attendance, one of the most consistent Street Fighter players since Street Fighter V. iDom, the Capcom Cup 2019 champion, and a big contender with his MenaRD. Even though, MenaRD's not the best competitive character, he still is making a lot of waves of that character. Nuckledu, another top consistent player, and had a really good performance at Capcom Cup X. And MenaRD, the EVO Japan champion, 2-time Capcom Cup champion, one of the most dominant players in Street Fighter V and Street Fighter 6 now, all reside in this NA East region, which means only 2 of them can actually qualify out of this region. Now, they can qualify potentially from one of the 10 offline spots available throughout the season, but it shows how stacked this region is that all these players are competing for 2 available spots. But that's not all, because for some reason this season, they merged Canada with NA East. They pulled out the Canadian qualifiers from the Midwest, so Sayff was originally in the Midwest tournament. Now he's in NA East, and Sayff from Canada, from Toronto, if you don't know, was the best performing NA player at Capcom Cup X. There he is, unsponsored Sayff with Canadian flag Canada carrying NA at Capcom Cup. He cracked top 8 at Capcom Cup X, outperforming any other NA player, and he has now been thrown into the mix in this region and is competing for these limited spots as well with these other world-class players. So we've already actually completed the first World Warrior event for this region. And here you can see the results. Punk ended up on top in a very dominant performance with first place, securing him 50 points to put him at the head of the pack in terms of point lead. iDom there with a nice second place. Nuckledu in third. The iDom versus Nuckledu sets were all-time classics. You should definitely check those out. Amazing matches. And you can see the rest of the competitors here. But one big name is kind of missing from this list. Like, these are all the players I mentioned. Punk, iDom, Nuckledu, Sayff. What happened to the 2-time Capcom Cup champ, the EVO Japan champion, MenaRD? Well, he actually ended up losing in this tournament round 1 to Dries de Beest Ken here. And Dries de Beest actually broke down exactly how this ended up in the final round, final game in the set between them. Dries de Beest has been a long-time competitive player, but he was out of the country for a few months. He was in the Middle East, I believe, for work and participating in events there with the Middle Eastern community and, practicing and grinding out there. So he was completely unseated for this event. MenaRD faced a really strong competitive player round 1 and then ended up dropping the ball to him. He shows how he used the light DP to counter the level 2 Blanco Ball extension in, and then with that conditioning, used that to read the jump forward when he knew Mena would not go for the extension that time to secure the offensive jump in, gets the counter hit Jinrai, converts into level 3, and ends up taking the set over MenaRD after the sequence here. So yeah, really big plays there from Dries de Beest. MenaRD, after losing this set, goes on a run through losers, ends up dropping to no prop Tay and losers as well. So MenaRD, after World War Regional number 1, doesn't crack top 8, but doesn't secure any points whatsoever. So that's a major ball drop from him, because remember, you want to have the most points at the end of the season so that you automatically qualify. If you don't get that auto qualification spot, you still have to win it all in the regional finals, which is how MenaRD qualified for Capcom Cup last season. But it's a much more risky play rather than just being consistent throughout the season and just immediately saying, peace, guys, I'm going to Capcom Cup, have fun in the regional finals. So with that said, how did MenaRD perform at World Warrior Regional number 2? Well, he remembered that defeat and decided to not let that bother him this time. He speed ran through pools here in World Warrior East number 2. 2-0 all the way through to the top 32. Didn't let anyone slow him down. And there's other big matches that went down in the top 32, including Shine versus Punk to God. Shine actually used Ed. Shine primarily known for his Kimberly and Chun-Li gameplay. Actually has a really strong Ed. He beat Punk's Cammy with Ed, which I think that's a terrible matchup for Ed, but this is not the first time that Shine has done this. He's also beaten Punk's Cammy at either a can opener or TNS. I'm forgetting which online weekly major that he did it in, but he actually has tournament victories online over Punk's Cammy with Ed. So Punk actually switched over to the Akuma, brought it back to set point, and we can see here how it all went down. Shine finds the low confirm, doesn't spend the OD Blitz. He could have done OD Blitz to level 2 to end it right then and there. He then blocks the drive rush overhead, defense from the barrage, has the life lead here, is trying to slow things down. Wakes up level 2, has a ton of recovery, but he secures the DP. Yeah, this was kind of a big scramble. Raw level 2 from Ed is very fast startup, 8 frames, but it has a decent amount of recovery. So in this kind of situation, at first glance, I assumed he was going to get punished. Punk, I think, wasn't sure what to do after executing the demon flip, wasn't sure what option to go for. So it doesn't go for a dive kick, which I think would have punished and gotten over the orb. He goes for empty demon here and then tries to throw Shine. Shine is just sitting there mashing recovery with the OD DP, hoping to blow up any punish attempt. And Punk just barely missed the punish on the level 2 activation, eats the DP, and then drops to loser's bracket prior to top 8, with Shine securing a top 8 winner's side appearance over Punk to God. So big plays there with Shine's Ed. Other big top 32 matches here. Sayff versus Boost going on here. So Sayff, like I mentioned, top 8 at Capcom Cup. Boost here, though, is on set point over Sayff in the Ken Mirror. And who is Boost? He's a name that a lot of people might not be too familiar with because he hasn't competed at many CPT level events and had big results, but he's been a consistent figure in the NA online tournament scene. So anyone who's been competing or watching those tournaments have seen Boost have really good performances. But still, I don't think it was the expected call here to see Boost with the immediate DI from the low forward, calling out the Jinrai cancel. The run Tatsu conversion to level 1 to side swap back to the side swap. Pushing Sayff and burnout here into the corner. Pressure with the Dragon Lash due to the burnout there on Sayff. Fake Jinrai setup to beta reversal option, surprise DI, and Boost ends up taking it 2-0 over Sayff. Our Canadian overlord here, and ends up going into the winner's side of top 8 while Sayff drops down to the loser's bracket. And there's a bunch of other big matches that were going down. MenaRD, he speed ran through the rest of the bracket here to top 8 winners with a 2-0 finish over iDom. Kind of weird that they played that early. Weird seeding. iDom was second place in the first World Warrior, and MenaRD, even though he got bodied, I still think he should have a higher seed. So kind of bad luck there for iDom to play Mena so early. But MenaRD, no sweat off his brow, breezes into top 8. Nuckledu does the same, making top 8 winners. And on the loser side, Zaffarino with his M Bison, switching off Dalsum, Jamie, and Akuma to M Bison, eliminates iDom before Punk takes him out on loser side. So we have Sayff, Punk, Flux Waves, Joe Rogan on the loser side of top 8. So getting into the top 8, first match we have up is Boost versus Shine. So he got the big upset over Sayff, but what can you do against Shine, another consistent NA competitor? Well, this match was, quite frankly, a massacre. Here's Boost on set point, 2-0 up over Shine and around here. Look at the neutral approach here from Boost. The careful placement of the buttons, the careful fireball game, inching his way to the left side of the screen to corner Shine's Kimberly. Drive rush in once he thought it was all clear, gets the confirmation from that. Stagger jab to beat the backdash or wake up level 1 option. Meaty option confirmed. Backdash shimmy with the stand fierce punish counter. Run stop reset, looking for potentially a DI or a super bust out from Shine, but look at the corner control and
what?
Amazing.
What are these links, bro? What are these combos that confirm?
Amazing. Let's watch this sequence one more time. After getting the offensive sequence, Boost here carefully backs up to the range. He's baiting Shine here to press Kimberly's best option, which is stand medium kick. Shine could use stand medium kick, cancel to an OD run or a dry rush in order to build space out of the corner and get her offense started. So he's purposely wiggling in and out of the range where standing medium kick will connect.
Can he kill from this?
Baits out the whiff, responds with stand medium kick to get the punish counter whiff, and knows that with punish counter frames, this is actually +7 on punish counter. He can link his level 2 here and get the actual raw link. And then look at the sequence after this. He has the follow-ups with crouching medium punch and to OD fireball to get a perfect meaty fireball, which will beat all of the wake-up options from Kimberly. Kimberly has a level 1 and level 2 available, both will lose to Meaty Fireball. They are not projectile invincible, so this is a guaranteed Meaty option against Kim. She's forced to block or parry this option right here. It doesn't connect. He's -2 here, so he backs up to build some space. Shine actually tried to tech. He had the standing light kick there to actually bait out the tech, but he backed up a little bit too far, but maintains the spacing, peppers in the light kick, and gets the perfect to close out this set. This was an immaculate, beautiful sequence. So if you thought the set over Sayff was maybe a fluke, I think after you saw this textbook set here from Boost over Shine, you might begin to be a believer in the Boost Ken. But moving on to the rest of the top 8 winners, MenaRD went up against Nuckledu. A classic matchup as well. MenaRD actually had to fight tooth and nail to qualify over Nuckledu into Capcom Cup in the regional finals last season. Nuckledu was up every single game with his Guile over MenaRD's Blanca, but MenaRD, he's just too clutch with the comebacks. He made a comeback every single game to take the set 3-0 over Nuckledu. So Boost versus MenaRD, winners finals, and US East #2. I don't think anyone actually called this, but that's what we have lined up. On the loser side, though, we have Sayff versus Punk to God, and look at this moment here. Sayff is actually on tournament point. Punk to God gets the OD DP to punish the attempt out of the corner. Whip punish on the miss button. Level 3. Sayff is now forcing the burnout on Punk, has him cornered on set point. Let's see how Punk responds in this moment. Dragon Lash in for the plus frames, double Dragon Lash to bait the throw tech. Counter hit jab confirmed to medium to level 3 link for Punk to help fight his way out of the burnout. Real clutch from Punk. But wait a minute. Air to air. Air to air. And that's it. Checkmate from Sayff. Punk had no super meter in this situation. Once he spent this level 3, in order to just fight his way out of the corner, he actually, I think, spent his resources too soon. He had so much burnout timer remaining once this level 3 ended here, and he was not in a great position to sideswap. He was still cornered. So this was expert play from Sayff to be patient in this moment when Punk actually approached here on the ground with the dash, recognize the attempt to cross up to escape the corner, jump back air-to-air medium, and then recognizing the spacing after this drive rush concludes, he realizes he won't be able to make contact with Punk. He's too far away. If he was able to be close enough to do drive rush medium into DI, it would be a checkmate guaranteed DI stun. There'd be no way for Punk to escape. But he recognizes that he's not close enough. There's no way for him to actually make a proper connection here to secure the checkmate here. So he doesn't overextend. He holds the ground instead, backs up to ensure that he's not too close for Cammy to jump over him easily to sideswap. And then once again, pays attention to the spacing, backs up, jump forward medium, canceled, OD, Tatsu, air-to-air DP. Punk still has 0 super meter available, still in burnout, and at this point, the stand fierce to DI is 100% guaranteed checkmate, no options there. Sayff from Canada, top 8 at Capcom Cup, eliminates the current, or before this moment, the reigning World Warrior champion who dominated World Warrior US East #1, and eliminates him at 7th place. So an upset, yes. Sayff has beaten many world-class players. I would still call this an upset, but just a really, really amazing sequence here to actually close out this set. And that shakes things up a lot in terms of the standings, because if Punk had another dominant performance, he was essentially a shoo-in for the top 8 and potentially a shoo-in for being the #1 ranked player. So this actually opened up the floodgates for everyone else in that position to say, wait, this is my chance to secure some points and jump Punk in the leaderboard. So really Sayff shaking up things for the entire season in this moment. The rest of the losers top 8 proceeds as well. Joe Umarugan drops the Flux Waves. Shine takes it over Flux Waves. Nuckledu ends up eliminating Sayff. If you haven't seen Nuckledu versus Sayff in the World Warrior US East #1 and this tournament, you should watch those matches. Sayff is such a troll. And, in World Warrior US #1, he actually almost beats Nuckledu, but it is in the most troll-like fashion. You have to watch both these sets. They're very, very unique sets, and Nuckledu is left scratching his head trying to figure out what Sayff is thinking while actually securing the win over him. But that said, we're off to winners finals. And winners finals features, MenaRD, a world-class champion who's been in this position so many times before, going up against a relatively unknown player. So in this position, you might assume, like a lot of the chat would assume, that MenaRD would just simply run through this and have a free path to domination here, as most of the stronger players, the more consistent players, are now in losers bracket eliminating each other. And for a time, that was correct. So here's MenaRD up a round in a game over Boost here. And you see the drive rush in, gets to confirm, gets the shimmy as well, sets up the situation into the corner. And yeah, it's just all MenaRD right now. Boost trying to fight out of here, missing the whiff punish. Gets punish countered on that Jinrai, canceled too close. Meaty heavy kick gets the counter hit confirm. Optimized. Perfect round there for MenaRD to go up 2-0 over Boost. And, you know, a lot of people were doubting Boost at this point because while he did have a really good showing against Sayff and Shine, they are super strong players, but it's not the same as fighting a world champion. Someone like a Punk who's won many major tournaments, or you know, Capcom Cup, 2 times Capcom Cup champion like MenaRD, EVO Japan champion. There's a different weight, a different aura when going up against those players in high-stakes situations. So many were questioning if Boost was ready. And at this point, a lot of the chat was counting Boost out. And in fact, you could possibly think that Boost was counting himself out. Just a couple weeks before this tournament began, Boost had tweeted this out. Some days I just feel like quitting. He was going through the blues. If you're a competitive fighting game player, you know exactly what Boost is feeling right here. Not everyone airs it out for the world to see. A lot of people keep it to themselves, but this is such a relatable sentiment. You really put your all on the line, your ego, your pride, your time, everything you put into this. And when you come up short, or you come up short of your own expectations, it can be devastating. And Boost, just a few weeks before this event, was saying that he feels like quitting. And in this moment, in this tournament, after getting so far, but now being steamrolled by a world champion player, it's easy to revert back to this negative way of thinking, to let the self-doubt creep in. So what does Boost do in this moment? Well, he decides to let fate make the decision for him. Jump in, cross up DI. Boost gets his first game on the board and a freak interaction. So MenaRD in burnout here, but he secures the offensive interaction in exchange for his drive meter. Gets the drive rush, crushing medium punch confirm. Sets up a pseudo safe jump here. So this is not a pure safe jump setup. And somehow Boost wiggles his way out of the corner, presses DI. It turns around to face MenaRD in the other way, and a befuddled MenaRD stares the DI in the face. He has a super meter available. He could raw throw this DI, but he just wasn't prepared for the jump into whiff and suddenly find himself in the corner in a DI pummeling at him at 26 frames. And he eats the DI, and Boost secures his first game of Winners Finals. So is this some godlike tech? Was this a perfect micro walk interaction, knowing that the safe jump setup from Luke here was fake and that he could secure a surprise turnaround DI? Or was it just a fluke? You know, only Boost himself can really tell. But, you know, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Whether this was preparation or just a lot of luck, who really knows besides Boost himself? But he decides to use this as the momentum booster he needs. And he proceeds to go into the next game and goes up to set point over MenaRD. And the confidence built from that moment showed in the gameplay leading up to this moment. Gets the jab counter hit confirmation to push MenaRD into the corner. Safe jump setup. He gets the offensive pressure, backs off to maintain corner control, drive rush in. The perfect spacing. DP to the offensive moment there for MenaRD. Gets the meaty plus on block stand fierce punch. Backs up for the shimmy. Confirmation on that into the level 3. And Boost ends up putting MenaRD in losers of the World Warrior US East #2 with a perfect after being down 0-2. So the Boost incident occurred, and you could see the shakiness in his gameplay prior to that DI securing his first win. And from that moment on, the confidence was surely building, and you could see MenaRD struggling to keep up with the spacing and the pressure that Boost was representing. And he beats MenaRD. Boost over players like Punk to God, MenaRD, iDom, Nuckledu, Sayff is in winners, our grand finals winner side of US East #2. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected it at all. But we still have a loser's bracket to figure out who his opponent is going to be in the grand finals. Meanwhile, Nuckledu, loser side, going on a speed run, taking out Sayff, taking out Shine 3-0. He's trying to get his redemption against MenaRD. And he actually does, you know, he does have a decent start. He gets a win with his Guile before MenaRD goes up 2-1 with the Blanca versus Nuckledu's Guile. But at that moment, Nuckledu had a plan. He remembered something key about MenaRD. He remembered this tweet from MenaRD. So MenaRD, he was eliminated by Fudo's DJ at Capcom Cup X in top 16 losers. Then DreamHack Dallas, fighting for his qualification to the Esports World Cup, was double jeopardied by Zhen's DJ in winners and losers side, where after he tweeted this meme here with DJ dancing around, throwing his fireballs all over the screen. He has disdain for this character, but vowed to figure out how to beat this matchup. So Nuckledu said, you know what? I have a DJ. It might not be the most practiced DJ, but it's definitely competent, and it might be time to bust it out. And that's what Nuckledu does. And here he is up around after switching to the DJ, playing some solid neutral anti-air out of the sky there against MenaRD's Blanca. It secures the throw. Huge life lead here, just trying to stave off any kind of disaster. Punish counter Blanca ball, gets MenaRD to the corner. Weird air-to-air interaction, totally whiffs. MenaRD tried the parry on the ground, and Nuckledu ties it up 2-2 with MenaRD with the DJ pick. So it's looking pretty good. I mean, he knows that MenaRD doesn't like the matchup, but, MenaRD does have a specific counter to the DJ, and that's his Luke. He prefers the Luke, so MenaRD switched to the Luke against the DJ, and here we are on set point for both players. Nuckledu, pretty even to life, but lower in the drive meter, and now in the corner, has level 3 on his side. MenaRD is harassing, trying to keep the drive meter low on Nuckledu's side, trying to maintain this positioning here. And at any moment, level 2 might come out, but the drive rush is checked. He's been training for this moment to check DJ drive rush. The hardest drive rush in the game to check. You know that MenaRD has trained specifically to counter that DJ turning green in that moment. And MenaRD ends up eliminating Nuckledu 3-2 last game, last round, to earn his right to have the run back against Boost. So MenaRD, he's been plotting on this. He needs the points. Remember what's at stake here for this tournament. MenaRD had a very disappointing showing in the First World Warrior tournament. He wants to qualify by being the #1 ranked player. He does not want to have to fight with the Sharks in the regional finals. And if you look at the standings, once again, he has 0 points whatsoever. Punk to God, and the first regional qualifier with 50. He just got 7th. That's an extra 20 points. Punk has 70 points. Even if he wins this tournament right now, that's only 50 points under his belt. He's still behind a lot of these players that have been showing up and doing consistent from the first tournament. So he wants to win bad. He wants to secure these points to make sure that he can secure his auto qualification spot. And it shows in the gameplay. Boost here, he opens with confidence, more so than he had in the beginning of the winners finals. It brings it to a 1-1 final round situation between these two. But MenaRD, he is a tried and true champion. Finds a crouching medium punch, counter hit confirmation, all the way through to the level 3, and he will end up taking this round and going up 2-1 over Boost in grand finals in the first set, looking for that reset to secure his points. And now Boost is he's behind in the set, but it's not a situation he hasn't been in before. But it's different this time. Many players will find themselves on the precipice of victory in these kind of moments. And at these moments, they might question themselves. They might question, am I really of that caliber? Well, Boost says it's time to fight back. Here we are, MenaRD 1 round away from resetting the bracket. Crosscut here from Boost, secures the corner. Misses the whip punish there, but secures the perfect parry. And look at this momentum here. Run, stop, run, overhead, reset. Secures the sneaky reset, staves off the reset point from MenaRD, prevents the bracket reset, and we have a final game situation for this first set with MenaRD. And going into this one, here we see the momentum building for Boost. He has the corner here in this final game of this set versus MenaRD. Secures the throw, shimmy situation. Peppers in the light kicks to control the space, finds the confirmation with the Sand Fierce on the crouching Luke here, gets the Dragon Lash loops, optimizes it so he only has to spend level 1, and secures the perfect to put him at tournament point over MenaRD. And like I mentioned before, this is a lot of momentum, but Boost hasn't been in this situation before. He is new to playing for the stakes this high against competition this fierce. And like I said, that self-doubt from before, if you haven't been in this position, can begin to creep in. In fact, just a few days before this tournament, he had tweeted this: "All competition has led me down a road of self-loathing, and it's always been for the same reason, seeking validation from my competition." He realizes he plays for the wrong reasons. He realizes he wants to be recognized for his greatness, but falls short, and that has been eating him up. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. A lot of players can relate to having these sorts of feelings. So in this moment, is he stressed about performing for his peers, or is he ready to face victory and achieve it for himself? Well, we go into this round here after the perfect secured. Boost on set point, confidently approaching to MenaRD, forcing him to the corner, understanding that he is in the lead, harassing with the stand light kicks, and they're buffered to OD Jinrai. Controlling the space, MenaRD walks into the light kick buffer. OD Jinrai cancel because he had the level 2 to cash out, and Boost ends up taking World Warrior US East over MenaRD. And if you said you called this result, you are a liar, because no one had Boost even making top 8 this tournament, but he ends up taking the whole thing instead. So what does Boost have to say after finally achieving his big win? I had a talk with a close friend who told me not to tie self-worth to competitive results. So there you go. Boost, realizing he has to play for himself allows the stress to wash away and secures his first major CPT victory over some of the best competition in the world. But, you know, what does this mean for the players in this region? Because now the region has been blown wide open. Looking at the standings here, things are in chaos. Punk and Nuckledu are tied with points. Punk is actually, by the tiebreaker metrics, of having the highest overall victory. He has a first place finish when Nuckledu only has a third place finish. Is now in the first place position to qualify automatically out to the Capcom Cup without having to do the regional finals. But you can see here, MenaRD, after getting second place, is only in 8th place with the points. Boost there and 4th, tied with iDom in terms of points. And you can see how tight the spread is, 70 to 40. So it's extremely close, this race now. There's only 3 remaining tournaments for this region. So it's now anyone's region to take. Obviously, Punk and Nuckledu are in the lead here. MenaRD is trying to climb back from behind. And Boost is now a dark horse in this race that no one had called originally. And it's really hard to tell who will actually end up taking those 2 qualification spots in this region. But it all makes me think of this chaos began because of one moment. The Boost incident here, where Boost finally found his confidence and secured this moment where he got the DI from the fake safe jump here, got out of the corner, DI turned around, and secured his first win over MenaRD, which he turned into a reverse 3-0 and eventually a tournament win. So was this intentional? Well, I had to ask the man himself. If you hold forward on a fake safe jump late, fast characters walk under. I actually meant to do drive reversal on wake up. So with a bit of luck, where preparation meets opportunity and finding the reasons to fight for the right reasons and having your motivation return, you can really achieve great things. So congratulations to Boost for taking this big tournament over some of the best competition in the world. And congrats to all the competitors for competing. And we will have to see how the qualification spots end up for the US East region. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.